Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your very brief break that we just had. Up and walked around or nurtured yourselves. We are going to be practicing a body scan here with Julie Dolan. Julie is a licensed professional counselor, dance movement therapist, and acupuncture detoxification specialist. Her approach is trauma-informed, equity-oriented, and culturally responsive. She is one of our certified mindful grieving facilitators. So you can find her on the Grief Support Network's website, as well as our sister organization, Center for Somatic Grieving. She will be leading us through this lovely body scan practice, and I'm going to pass it over to her after just a few housekeeping pieces. Again, the chat is meant to be free of any hate or judgment. Please use this space respectfully. In this practice, we probably won't be using it, but just in case, anyone that does abuse it will be removed from the summit entirely. Please keep yourselves muted unless otherwise asked. But Julie, I will pass it over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm so happy to be here. I'm super honored to be part of this really beautifully created, crafted sequence of practices for working with grief. So hello to everybody that's here. Maybe you're coming in for the first time right now, but if you're like me and you were lucky enough to participate in some of the meditation and movement asana practice earlier today or yesterday, you'll recognize this body scan as really an expanded version of what we call the four body meditation. It's taught in the Grief Support Network training, and it's used in the programs. So it's an awareness practice, and it's a way to deepen into what is real in the moment for us in our bodies. I'm guessing that you all probably have a journal or a pad nearby, and I want to invite you also to get some colored pencils or pens or crayons at the very end of the body scan, just if there's anything that arose for you in imagery that you want to get down on paper. I'm a pretty verbal person, well, kinesthetic and verbal. I don't think of myself so much as an artist in that form, but often through the body scan, I get I'll see in a different way, and I'll want to draw it. So I'm just seeding that idea for you that you may get some imagery, and you may not. Let's see. I want to also just note that here we are again in this sequence of practices doing something quite personal in a virtual community. And I don't know most of you, and I don't know what it's like for you to live in your body, and I don't know what you've been through, and I don't know what your griefs are. I know that there are people here with very new, immediate personal losses, community losses, complicated grief, all of it. And each of the practices and each of these sessions, I believe, is able to meet the grieving process wherever you are. And you're the expert on your experience. So I just want to name that I'm going to invite you to be in the experience of your body, and you get to say how much feels right and how you get to notice where it's working for you and where it's not, and make your own personal adjustments. Does that make sense? Okay. What else did I want to say before we get going? Just that I think when we, this is an awareness practice, and it's really a practice in non-judgment. The invitation is curiosity about sensation, thought, feeling, and judgment will likely arise. And if you've done any meditation, if you can approach that with the in-breath, there it is, and the exhale, move on from it. And also when we're coming into our bodies, some of what we notice initially is patterns of use and disuse. So what parts of us have been active lately, and what parts of us may be a little bit dormant. And particularly in a grief process, there are parts of us that we may shelter or not use. So that's just part of the noticing right now. Okay, are there any questions before we just get started? Okay, alrighty. So this practice is actually done standing up. We want to feel our connection to earth. We want to feel our rootedness and the length of our being and the strength of our being. So coming to a standing position. If standing is not a possibility for you, I would recommend sitting in a chair over sitting on the floor, so that at least there's some length in your legs. Okay. So coming to a standing position that feels comfortable. We'll be here for a little bit. And feet can be hip width apart. Feet can be whatever feels good to you. I would have a slight bend in the knees, and as you're ready, coming to eyes closed. And if eyes closed makes you feel really off balance, then leaning against a wall is fine. Leaning against something is totally fine. So finding this position, standing, feeling the soles of your feet against the surface that you stand on. Seeing if you can notice the texture of the floor, the carpet, the earth, the grass, the wood, whatever it is under your feet, the texture, the temperature. And you'll notice that there's usually a gentle swaying in your body. We don't actually stand perfectly still. It's pretty hard. And just allow that swaying to be there. Some of us tend to move front to back a little bit. Some of us tend to move side to side. You might want to notice what each of those feels like, how the weight shifts. Ball of the foot to heel of the foot, sides of the feet, side to side. Stretching your toes, just feeling a sense of groundedness and support underneath you right now. And then just calling your attention to the tops of your feet and your ankles. And this is a practice of using your internal eyes. You know what they look like, the tops of your feet and your ankles. But what do they feel like? What kind of sensation lives in your feet, your ankles? Are there any feelings or thoughts associated with that part of your body? And then traveling up your legs, your lower legs, your shins, your calves, and just feeling the pattern of sensation there in the lower legs. Seeing what imagery arises in your internal eyes, thoughts, feelings associated with the lower legs. Moving up to your knees, such an important joint. Really holds a lot of weight. Many of us have pains in our knees, have had surgeries in our knees. What's living there for you right now in those knees? Sensation, thought, feeling, imagery. Moving up your legs to your quadriceps, the thighs, the back of the legs. This is an area of very strong muscles, important muscles for our movement, for our walking, for our moving from place to place. What do you see, feel, sense in this moment in the upper legs? Then drawing your attention to your pelvic area, your pelvic floor, the pelvic bones, the genital area. This is the first part of the body we've come to that has an opening to the outside. What are you noticing in the whole pelvic region in terms of sensation, feeling, thought, imagery, history, memory? And then moving up to the belly, the low back, in this whole lower part of our torso sits so many organs that are part of our daily life, our reproduction, elimination, digestion. So much happens inside here. What are you noticing right now within these lower organs around the belly? And what are you noticing in the low back, the spine, in terms of sensation, image, thought? Before leaving this part, let's take a deep breath into the belly area, feeling expansion and release with the exhale. Let's breathe in again, expanding the belly. Exhale, release. And drawing your attention up to the rib cage, the heart, the lungs, the breasts, the upper back. Taking a deep breath in that expands the ribs, the lungs, and exhale, contracting. Breathing in again, and exhale, release. If you're noticing any anxiety arising as we go through the body scan, focusing on your exhale as opposed to your inhale, making sure that that exhale is just a little longer than your deep inhale, can help settle your system. So sensation, feeling, thought, imagery in the upper torso. And all the organs contain the heart, the lung. Places where we sometimes really experience our grief, organs that get really impacted. Moving to our shoulders and upper back, noticing patterns of tension, sensation, thought, feeling in the shoulder area. Allowing your attention to move down your arms, elbows, wrists, and hands. Just seeing where your attention wants to fall along the length of your arms. Thoughts, feelings, sensation, imagery in the fingers, the hands, the wrists, the elbows. Now coming up to the neck. And the jaw. And all those muscles around the mouth, the jaw. Maybe taking a swallow and just feeling what it's like right now. Here we are again at an opening to the outside, the mouth. Noticing sensation, thought, feeling. Imagery. The lips, the tongue. The nasal passages, the nose, the cheeks, the eyes, the tear ducts, the forehead. What's living there now? Sensation, imagery, feeling, memory, emotion. Drawing your attention to your scalp, your whole head, the back of your head, your hair. Seeing if you can actually feel the connection of the hair to the head, scalp, the follicle. Visualizing it and feeling it. And now traveling back down the body, taking in your whole self. We went from bottom to top. Let's go from head all the way back down, feeling your wholeness, this integrated system of bones, muscles, fluids, lots of fluids, organs, skin, adornment, feeling your whole self. Taking a deep breath in and letting it out. Maybe readjusting your stance and imagining you could draw a line down your center so that you have two halves, a left side and a right side. And just putting your attention into your left side and noticing what arises when you feel the left. How does the left come alive? How do you identify it? What do you feel? And when you feel like you've got that, go over to the right side. Just put all your attention into the right. And notice if you have sensations particular to the right, feelings, thoughts particular to the right side. And when you feel like you've got that, taking a breath in, letting it out. And we'll draw another line that separates the front of our body from the back of our body. And drawing our attention first into the front and allowing all the associations about the front of your body to arise. Sensations, thoughts, feelings, imagery. And when you feel like you've got that, taking a deep breath in, exhaling nice and long, and bringing your attention to the back side of your being. And just noticing what's there, what arises, what sensations, feelings, thoughts, images are associated with the back of your body. And when you've got that, breathing in, exhaling long, feeling your feet on the ground, and one more split. We'll feel first the bottom half of our bodies, and where the line is only you know, between top and bottom. And just see what's there in the bottom half. What sensations, feelings, thoughts arise for you. And when you have that, breathing in, exhaling long, and coming to the top half. And noticing, just noticing, with great curiosity, sensation, feeling, thought, and imagery. When you feel complete there, we'll come back to a sense of wholeness. And you may want at this point to really draw that sense of whole self in the space around you using your hands and arms. You may want to give yourself some touch, top to bottom, just to feel the integrity of this body. I like to really give myself a good squeeze and a good pat all the way down my body after something like this, just to know it, to know myself in a tactile way after all of that internal visioning. I would also invite you to bring a little movement into your body, maybe just a little gentle bouncing. You can just bounce, bounce, bounce. You can lift your heels if you want, or you can just bend your knees. It can feel good, and it can also be integrating after something like this, just to allow the whole body to shake a bit and bring some shaking into all of you. Also, swinging can feel good. Allowing the hands to flop as you twist from side to side. Yep, beautiful. I love what I'm seeing. Shaking out your legs, your feet, hands, shoulders, just shaking out that whole experience. And when you feel like you've done enough with your body, and if you'd like to grab your journal and jot a few things down, we can spend 3-4 minutes there, just writing anything that came up for you, and or drawing, getting any images down. It's not a requirement. I just like to make space for that because I think a lot can arise through this practice. And just taking another 30 seconds or so to complete that thought. There'll be some more time later this afternoon for journaling if you need it and want it. I don't know if any of you all were in the meditation and asana practice this morning with Courtney. She had a beautiful image when we were in bridge pose. She noted that bridges are structures that take us from one place to another. And it's a really lovely image and a way of thinking about all of the practices that we're weaving together in this summit. And so may the body scan that you just participated in, and I thank you for participating in that with me, may it be a bridge or a step along the journey of your grief and healing practice. So thank you so much for being with me this afternoon. Namaste.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate you. Body scans are one of my personal favorite things to do on a daily basis. Just really tap in to where we are and what our bodies are telling us. So thank you for leading this group in one this afternoon. We have a couple minutes left, so I'm gonna open up the chat. If anyone wants to tell us a word or phrase that came up for them during this body scan, love to hear from you. Otherwise, we will be coming back together at 3:30 with Claudia again. If you were in Yoga Nidra last night, she led us there, but she will be doing a lecture on Ayurvedic nutritional support for grief. So very much so looking forward to that one, and hope to see you all there. Thanks again, Julie.
Thanks for the note, Autumn. I love that you do it at night. It's lovely.